I'm really delighted to have Diego Della Valle at the opening of our luxury summit. Diego, it's good to see you. I think you may be the last person I saw before the pandemic. I think
it's true.
How have you been? Have you been well?
I am in Capri for 3 days now. Usually I use this time to do jogging, diet, and think about some interesting project for the future. I'm perfect, especially now.
Good. Well, I'm sure we'll get to some of the projects for the future. But let me ask you first about the last year. Because it has been hard on Tod's, and it's been hard on a lot of companies, of course. Your revenues were down 30%. You're, of course, exposed to Europe. You're also exposed to China, less exposed to the US. What is the outlook for 2021? What has it been like the last 6 months?
I think that last year I decided, especially in the first part of the virus, we decided don't make wrong decision about distribution products, because everything was completely insecure. Nobody know about nothing. We decide stop it as is possible to send the product. To help our shops, we try to finance the companies. We try take back the product. You know, the idea was save the moment, because everything was completely out of any control. This year is better because we see the light. We hope, and we try to have our precise strategy for the future, for the second part of this year, and for especially the 2022, that is the most important now target for us. We think that in this year, the second part, I think, is a good and positive moment. The life coming back, maybe not 100%, but much better, of course, than before. In this year, what we do? We try to move, change everything in one precise direction. Before, my idea about 2 or 3 years ago was precise. I tell 4 years ago, I said with my managers, well, watch, because the web maybe is fantastic, but at the same time it will be dangerous for the luxury company with the luxury time, because the timing in the luxury company is not so fast like the web. It is, of course, was a wrong decisions, and now we are in the right way, and we walk and work quickly for arrive to our goals. And what we want to do, we change a little the creativity in our luxury product.
Over the past year, you've had obviously to close down a lot of the boutiques. Is everything reopening, and to what extent during that year did you move to online sales?
The last year we try to do the best as is possible. We don't touch employees, because in our group, the employees is the center of our life. We defend the works of our people. We don't close shops, only a few worldwide. We try to cut costs, because in a company like our company, after 10 years, was a very good pit stop. It tried to cut cost, change some strategy, some execution in more easy, less expensive. This is it. At the same time, we decided don't do many collection a year. We try to change the appointment for the two-season collection, because I think now in our business with the web that push us, we need to do minimum project every 2 months, one project precise with a strong marketing. This is the good news, the real big news in our business model. And this year, we have an execution about this strategy, and I think now I am sure that is a right way for us. We test every day the new ideas. We need to have an incredible big attention about the web, about everything is in online now, is our first interesting project. And I understand personally, if you think that is very important, maybe you see better than me that in the last 3-4 years, the luxury change. The companies are super big, the increase is 2 double-digit, 3 double-digit. It was completely different than before. Before the luxury in the success moment grow 1 or 2 double-digit easy. The life was high, light life, product super exclusive. It was another timing. No? Now everything changed.
Yes. Do you think that things sort of started to change several years ago, because your sales have been down for several years? There was the pandemic, but even before the pandemic. When you look back over the last few years, what do you think you would have done differently, and how do you reverse today the declining sales?
One, the super big market, Asian market, especially China, now is a super present in the worldwide business. Second, a strong generation of young people that now is not so young, is people around 20 to 30 that love to buy product worldwide. And third, the iPhone in the hands of this generation, that these 3 points more or less make the big difference. And the creativity in the product, especially for the luxury company like us, we was very proud for our Icons product that was the same for 50 years. The same, it changed sometimes the customers, the new one arrived, the daughter or the son follow the father or the mother, and now this is completely changed.
You think that doesn't work anymore? You have to innovate a lot more.
The formula is 50 and 50. 50% we remain very close to our story, the super quality, the Italian lifestyle, and the evergreen product, like a super luxury product. The other 50% is a super quality with a lot of creativity, a cool and funny product with a new communication for the young generation. I don't want to lose the big story. We need the big approach with the future. I think this formula for me is the best, because guarantee the long life for the company, guarantee the story of the products. At the same time, you touch the new customers with a big curiosity about creativity, about quality. The good married is a 50 and 50. The 50 is the life, our life. 50 is the future life.
You don't like sneakers, but everybody's wearing sneakers. And all other luxury brands now make sneakers. And this has been reinforced in the pandemic. So are we going to have to sneakers?
It's true. My brother want to kill me for this. And when I was a student in Bologna in university, I was one of the few guys with a blazer blue, pair of jeans, and white sneakers at the time. 40 years ago.
So what happened to you?
No, I don't believe before the sneakers as a luxury was the same thing. Luxury is one thing, a sneaker is another thing. But now the market show me that sneakers is luxury, no luxury, sneaker is sneakers now. I understand.
You understand, okay.
We make 100,000 pair of sneakers a month.
Does this say that you are too risk averse?
I am a person that guide a company. There is more or less between my and I company that work for us 10,000 employees. I need to guide with a prudent touch, but at the same time, I have a lot of curiosity. In our story, we start for many products before the many others. We invented some products because the curiosity support and push me. No, I think I am super curious for the product, super prudent to guide the company.
Let's talk about China, because it is obviously becoming a much more important market for luxury. A lot of people say that there was a reliance on the Chinese tourist before, the Chinese tourist coming to shop in Europe. That trend has shifted now. Do you think that you now need to go to the Chinese market rather than wait for the tourists to come to Europe?
We was born many years ago without the Chinese tourists in Europe. I remember my first trip in China around 15 years ago, very fascinated with one my big friend, Yves Carcel. He was at the time the CEO of Louis Vuitton. We follow the Chinese market. The Chinese do it an incredible story, an incredible powerful today in the market, especially in luxury. But I had a lot of fantastic customers in charming woman in Paris, charming woman in London, elegant woman in Berlin, a lot in New York. No, this is we have a big market potentially in our hands.
But do you think you need to expand the retail and marketing in China now?
Yes, in our strategy, we try to remain super exclusive, and let's it, yes. But at the same time, the managers now work a lot for, don't forget, our customers in Europe and US.
Okay. What else is in the strategy other than, being sort of more into sneakers and perhaps being a bit less risk averse? What else is in your strategy for the next 5 years? I remember that a few years ago, you unveiled a turnaround, and you talked at the time about Todd's Factory. What is Todd's Factory, and is that still going on?
Todd's Factory is like a laboratory with ideas, especially new ideas, and is a part of my group, super small, less people very quickly. In this part of the company, I try to test what I like. Sometimes is a thing, is a 100% laboratory about new ideas, about a new picture, about a new communication. We speak about pop-up. Is a service for my group. The idea is every people is free, work and try to do what you want. Is our partnership with the St. Martin School was a Todd's Factory ideas at the time. The idea was give a free message to the student. This is the 2 or 3 iconic product in Todd's. You translate like you want.
And it's still operational, Todd's Factory. The system is still working.
There is every season 2 or 3 different things minimum. Sometimes is collaboration. Sometimes we make a small line and we want to sell in 2 months. There is many small idea, but we want to test what is possible, use it for us in the big company.
And is there something an idea that you can share with us? Give us an example, a recent example.
I think the collaboration with Albert Elbaz, my big friend, unfortunately, passed away. Super big man, a super good designer. We do together one capsule, and now we have a Japanese guy that prepare for the next month another one, and we have 1 or 2 ideas about pop-up for summertime. And the last one, that I loved, was the partnership with the St. Martin School. And we improve month by month. Maybe one day we need to have a few designers that speak about the new style in the shops, for example, because I think that the shops, like the traditional shops, more or less is finished. Now we need to have another type of shops with the super in movement, like more pop-up than a shop.
So you're thinking more of the shop as an experience.
Yeah, it's true. If you want people in the shop, you need to give an experience. And the pop-up is that, you know. I think the future is a mix between shops, pop-up, and e-commerce. This is the new omni-channel in the future, is that.
Let's imagine the Tod's shop. What would happen in a Tod's shop if I walked into a Tod's shop of the future?
Maybe for summer, a small market with a 3 or 4 younger designers, and we want to organize every month. We want to present one young designer. This is good for the curiosity, and it's good for the young designer too. Have the possibility for show the product in a few of the best locations of the world. And sometime we organize. Well, I have one idea that I consider super good. I tell you next month.
Oh, come on.
It's very good, easy.
Come on, tell us. Don't be shy.
Fashion is very, very aggressive, super quickly smart. But I tell you in 1 month, my promise. I came to London, your office, I tell you.
Okay. I'm going to hold you. I'm going to hold you to that. But tell me before you tell everybody else.
Of course.
Let me get it as a scoop. Okay, good. Now, the appointment of Chiara Ferragni got a lot of attention. Tell me about that. And, you know, this is part of your attempt to appeal to a younger audience, isn't it?
It's an easy consideration. And we want that the young generation understand what we do, not only product. With Chiara is not a product agreement, is not a marketing agreement. She stays with us, and we try to have together some ideas for solidarity and for the welfare, for everything everything that is around the young generation. That's it. We start in 1 or 2 weeks with 1 or 2 projects. This is the idea, simple. We have a part of our board that follow some our project worldwide around inside our factories, around our factories, and when it's a big project like Colosseum for Italy, we have 3 different levels of approach. With Chiara, the idea is that only in heavy and important ideas for the young generation.
Okay. LVMH, you sold 75 million euros worth of your own shares to LVMH investment vehicle Delphine at the end of April. And so LVMH stake in the company is now 10%. What does this mean for the Tod's Group? And I mean, obviously, there's been given the consolidation in the industry and the fact that a lot of independent brands have been snapped up by the giants, there's been a lot of speculation that Tod's is going to join the LVMH portfolio.
We are personally friends for long times, us and our family. Bernard bought the 3 more or less percent.
3.2, yeah.
Before we arrived to the stock market 20 years ago, more or less. I am in the LVMH board for the last 15 years, more or less. And the reason is easy because we have the same idea about luxury, about fashion, about the fashion system. And at the same time, if we have an occasion for to do something in the future, if it's possible, we try to do. The reason is 7% for arrive, 10% and for give a message that we like to stay together. And we are ready for to do something if you arrive the occasion. That's it.
So what you're saying is that it's not impossible that one day Tod's will be part of LVMH.
I have one family with a son, nephew. We love what we do. I think I don't have idea about that. But if one day I decide, I believe in people like Bernard. But no problem, nothing in the view.
You want to make sure that if it were to ever happen, it would be Bernard.
100%, for sure.
So, and what would your plans be then for Tod's if you were ever to retire?
I hope that the group of people that is around me, plus 1 or 2 persons that maybe I need, is person that guide the company. Today with my brother better than me. I need 1 year for prepare the real team, and nobody believe, but I am ready. I am ready for a minimum the 60% or 70% of my time free, and 30% for watch. And I quote the number, the direction.
So nobody believes that, but you are ready to step back, not to retire, but to
100%.
But not to step back 100%, to step back 60%.
I love to control what the people do it. I love to have my head in marketing project, in good idea. Is a good reason for don't will be old, no?
Yes, I know. Let me ask you one. I think we're running out of time.
You don't believe.
But let me ask you. I do believe you. You like control. Let me ask you one last question, just about what the mood in Italy right now, because you have had a very significant change of government, and you have Mario Draghi now leading the government. How do you think he's doing?
I think that Draghi is the right person. In generally, is 100% perfectly in moment like this. I think that Draghi, we was involved at the meeting together in one board 25 years ago for 2 years. I know him. He's a very good person. He believes in what he do. I think the people out of Italy respect him a lot. In this moment, for us, is very important. He's not the only man, of course. Maybe, I hope, tomorrow arrive the new generation of politics that want to do the best. We want, I want, and we need. But at the moment, Draghi is the best doctor for this moment.
You don't think that people are thinking too much of him as a savior, because Italy's problems are obviously very deep. It's going to take more than one man to fix them.
Of course. Now, well, the people, you need to divide the people. The simple people now think about the life. think about survive in this terrible moment, think about to protect the job, and don't think for long terms. But what you said is true. Now is the right moment in Italy for try to change with a big turnaround. There is a good group of young politicians between left to right, young. I see this another big occasion for try to build a very good future for our country. I also think the business community need to do a lot of things more than now. The business community is not only a money machine, of course. There is a fantastic group of managers and owner of company. I think we need to do what people like Draghi ask us now. It's not sufficient anymore to say that, okay, I am a businessman, successful. I have a good group of employees, and I pay tax. Now the next step, worldwide, not only in Italy, for us is the businessmen need to do a lot of things for other people, especially people that need that we give a big support. If we don't do that, I don't think the society tomorrow changing better.
Diego Della Valle, it's been great talking to you. Thanks for being with us, and I will see you in 1 month in London.
I coming. My big pleasure. It's very, very happy to see you today and the other people too. I studied better English for when I arrive in London.
Your English is perfect. Thank you.
Ciao, good luck. Ciao, ciao a tutti.